Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's been a while. It's It's a Trainer Podcast, episode 13. Me and Rose have been a little bit busy, so, got to apologize for that first. Apologize to the people. We've been doing Overwatch League. Obviously, playoffs just came and went, and we attended that in Anaheim, California. It was a whole lot of fun, but yeah, Rose, the last month has been a bit wacky, to say the least.
That's kind of wacky.
A lot of stuff going on.
It wasn't even just wrapping up like the Overwatch League season, I feel like, but it was just, I don't know, maybe a lot of travel, mismatched schedules. I'm not really sure, but we're back and we're here with an episode, and that's what
Yes.
matters.
Yeah, a lot of everything. Yeah, it's just mismatched schedules and Overwatch 2, everybody's streaming that every single day. So yeah, we've been a little bit lacking on the podcast, but it's not been a month, I don't think. I think the last episode was on the 21st. It hasn't been a month.
Well, yeah, that's good.
Hasn't been a month.
Don't worry, it'll
be
more regular. It'll be more regular.
Exactly. It's more regular now. Off season's here. All good. Although I'm traveling for the next month, so we'll see how that ends up working out. All good.
We'll figure it
out. That does mean, though, there's been a lot of news, which is always good to kind of cover. So we'll jump straight in. Of course, we do have Scarlet and Violet around the corner, literally around the corner. Also, by the way, if you are watching on YouTube, episode of Darkness today. It is 9 p.m. In California, and I assume it is 11. Midnight.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm on the East Coast.
East Coast represent, West Coast represent. There you go. That's why it's a bit dark in the thing, but maybe it's a bit more of a cozy one. There you go. And if you're listening on Spotify, you can't see our faces. All good. All good. Or Apple Music now, by the way. Also on there. And many other platforms. So yeah, check us out. Anyway, right. Let's go. Next, or first topic even. New Pokemon Rose that got revealed the other day. Revealed in more of an interesting way. I think this one was kind of funny. Gimmighoul, which is the coin chest Pokemon. Yeah, it first started appearing in Pokemon Go after it was data mined, but it also appeared in a video from the Pokemon company, which was quite interesting because it was just like people will scan those videos until every single pixel has been looked at. But it was a little prompted in the corner. I don't know if you saw that photo of oh my god, he's right there. As the trainer was taking a selfie.
Well, I saw it, but then I was like, okay, well, what the heck is happening? And I didn't actually know about Gimmighoul until I saw some of my friends on Twitter talking about how they were seeing these golden Pokestops. And so, of course, I immediately opened my game and I see these golden Pokestops too. And as I spun one, it prompted with a whole new storyline in Pokemon Go about these new coins that are coming up for the Paldea region. And that's when we got all of the news after that point of Gimmighoul being a new Pokemon. It's purely ghost type. It has two different forms. It has the wandering form, I guess, which is the one where it's like the singular one with the coin on its back, and then I think that's the one that people saw pictures of.
Yes.
But then there's the chest form too.
Yeah, the roaming form, which I'm just quickly playing the video for the YouTube audience out there. For the Spotify, I'll narrate as best as possible, but it looks pretty weird.
It's pretty weird looking.
Yeah, oh man, it's very tiny too. I
didn't think it was a Pokemon at first.
Audio listeners out there, no, I don't think anybody. They were like, "Oh, cool, like a chest. That's pretty sick. You get to get it, I guess, and then you get an item." But it is very tiny. Its roaming form is very small. There's a video on the Pokemon YouTube, and it is just standing on top of a sign, and the sign is, I'd say, larger than your average street sign, I suppose, but it is standing on top of it, and it looks like an ant, or a bigger ant. I don't know. The closest size comparison I can kind of think of is a very small Rattata, like a baby Rattata or something. It is tiny.
It's like a pinky. If you were to think of like a Rattata as like a real mouse, I guess. It's like a pinky sized Rattata. It's really tiny, but it's in Pokemon Go now too. You can see it walking around on the minimap, and that should give you a really nice idea of just how small this thing is.
It is miniature. And then in its chest form, it does obviously have a bit of bulk to it, but it is mainly the chest. So yeah, it's got 2 different forms. I'm curious how they end up switching between the 2. Maybe it's just kind of an item it holds, maybe, and it goes into the chest form, or vice versa, like it goes into roaming form if it's holding an item. Not entirely sure there, but it is pure ghost type. I feel like we don't have many ghost type, just pure ghost types anymore.
I think you're right about that, because even when you think about Gengar is ghost poison,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
because
I
even
think
some of the old Pokemon have double typing. Like, it feels very rarely now do we get a monotype mon.
yeah, so like if to put it in perspective, I mean, there's like 10 right now
Wow.
that exist.
Really?
Like, yeah,
Jesus.
so the whole Shuppet
Ghastly? No.
line,
No. Shop it. Okay, that makes sense, actually.
because the whole Ghastly line
It's
is ghost
poison,
poison,
too. Yeah,
but
yeah.
Misdreavus
Okay,
is
okay.
Misdreavus and Mismagius are both just ghost, and then you have like the whole Duskull line. And
Yep.
the Sinistea and Poltegeist, as well as Galarian,
Oh.
Corsola, and
Okay.
Cursula are all pure ghost. So, wow, that's really weird. Looking at this, I feel like we got the most pure ghost forms in Galar, because this includes Spectrier too.
That's weird.
So weird.
whenever I think of the old games, I'm always like, you kind of revert back to like a simpler period of time where in my brain I'm like, there's probably more like monotype creatures or monotype Pokemon like way back when, but I guess
Yeah.
apparently not with ghost type. Because originally I always thought Ghastly, Haunter, Gengar, you just like ghost. You don't expect it to be poison. Did it get a dual typing later on in the games, or was it
I
pure
don't
ghost in red and blue, yellow? I don't know.
I don't I think everything started pure monotype, did it not? And then like it got the dual type later? I don't know,
Maybe.
but at this point in time, there's
Yeah.
no pure ghost types from Gen 1.
Which is a little bit mad because you'd assume that is Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar. It
Exactly.
does have an ability, Rattled, which increases its speed by 1 stage after being hit by a bug, dark, or ghost type damaging move, which is kind of cool. Like a little like bait and switch kind of dealio. Not sure how strong Gimmighoul is going to be. It seems like one of those Pokemon that doesn't seem that strong at all. But, you know, time will tell. Time will tell. It hides inside of its treasure chest and moves slowly. It says, yeah, it hides inside its sturdy chest. So maybe it's a slow Pokemon. That's why it has the Rattled, which increases its speed. Seems like it has a second form called Roaming Form. This kind of doesn't hide in the chest. It's small, carries a single coin on its back, and can be found hiding all over Paldea. So maybe
It's pretty cool.
it seems like a mini game Pokemon in a way. So, you know, oh, here's some Pokemon Go images. There you go. You can kind of see how kind of small
Yeah.
it is. So it seems like maybe an interesting way of like finding the Pokemon is going to be, maybe it's like a mini game Pokemon. Like I'm remembering like Arceus where you had to hit the trees, or like honey on the trees in Soul Silver,
Yeah,
Heart Gold, like that kind of thing. Maybe that's how you find it, is you collect the coins and then you find
I
the
think
chest or
so.
something. That sounds
Well,
like something that's
I think Go released some news actually that there's going to be linking between the games. So you don't even have to go through home anymore, is what it makes it sound
interesting.
like. But you can link your Pokemon Go app to the Scarlet and Violet game, so there's nothing in between. And that's how you get Gimmighoul in Go when the game actually releases. This isn't a feature that's supposed to be released until 2023,
I see.
but that's
Huh.
still something interesting to look at. Maybe that's how, with like how
Yeah.
Meltan is in
Oh,
Go with
yeah,
the
you're
mystery
right.
box thing. Yeah,
Yeah. That does make a lot of sense. And obviously more connectivity between the games, always a good thing. So that's
definitely.
definitely not a bad thing. It also feels like, you know, the old games with Electrode in the power plant, you fight the
Oh
Electrode.
yeah.
That's one of the only ways to get them, unless you
Yep.
just kind of evolve. Just by the way it's a chest, I'm thinking maybe it's sort of the same thing where like you walk up to it, oh, it's a Gimmighoul, or it's an item kind of thing. So maybe that's also maybe a way it's found, just the way, by the way it
Yeah.
looks kind of thing. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Another Pokemon that has been revealed, instead of Girafforig, it's Farafgarif.
Farigiraf.
For Jesus Christ, I've messed that
Farigiraf
up.
and Girafforig.
Jesus. So you're
I
swapping the
can't
A's and the
wait.
G's.
Yeah.
So Girafforig's alternate form, regional form, but it's an evolution, which, by the way, Girafforig, I'm not like the biggest fan, but it's like definitely a Pokemon that's not seen any love since it's been
It
launched.
hasn't.
Like, has it ever had like a V card? Has it ever had an EX? You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those Pokemon that got kind of lost in time. And
Yeah.
it's the complete opposite of Girafforig, like both in name and also physical appearance.
It is true. That is true. I mean, I think it's really interesting how the tail of Girafforig with the like the head on it that kind of looks like a
Chain
chain chomp.
Chomp? Yep.
Now it's like around its head.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that happened, but cool.
I mean,
That's the timeline we live in.
any old Pokemon that doesn't get that much love, hey, I'm all down for. Like these are, I think, the regional Pokemon, or like the idea of regional Pokemon, really unlocked the doors to a lot of these old Mons that didn't really have a lot of love originally and weren't that strong. Like, it reminds me of kind of like Sudowoodo. Pokemon's not that strong at
Yeah.
all, but there's lots of things you can do with like, oh, this is a regional variety of this. So yeah, I'm all for these. Honestly, it's going to be hard for me to say, but that's fine. I love
Hey,
that they're
I
still
think it'll
bringing
be
up some of
cool.
the old Pokemon.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I think that we might actually see some competitive play for Farigiraf and
Okay,
Girafforig. I'm only saying those back to back so I can get used to saying it
that's a
over
good
and
idea.
over
I
again
like that.
as a tongue twister. But I with Armor Tail, which is one of the newer abilities that's been introduced into Scarlet and Violet, Armor Tail makes opposing Pokemon unable to use moves with increased priority. So we're talking no more fake out. We're talking no more like
Oh,
grassy glide.
that's
And a
annoying.
lot
Yeah.
of like, yeah, like it's a really, really cool ability. And it's one that I was built, I feel like, with Farigiraf in mind or vice versa. So people are thinking that, hey, well, Giraffurig's base stats are actually not so bad. And if you pop an Eviolite on that Pokemon, then maybe when we're in just a regional dex for Paldea, then we might see some gameplay with both of those Pokemon with that ability.
It is an evolution though, so will that work with the Eviolite?
Oh, no, but maybe, like, if you wanted to do, like, because we don't know Farigiraf's, like, base stats yet, so we can't really
That's
tell
true.
if, like, that's gonna be good, but
Yeah.
if Arbor is available to Farigiraf, then
And
pretty
Giraffe.
likely it should
Yeah.
be to Giraffrig too, and so that's where you might see, like, the whole Eviolite strategy come in.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool actually. I think the idea of having having it so that the opponent can't use priority moves is quite cool, because fake up, it's not cheap, but like, when you get hit by it, it's like, okay, all right, go next turn. Like, it's not
Yeah, it's
exactly.
true.
And so having like a small counter to that, I think is quite cool. It also can come with Cud Chew, and when it eats a berry, it will eat
Right.
one more time at the end of the next turn, which is quite interesting. So I guess you eat half of the berry, which is quite cool. That that ability, I'm not sure how strong that'll be, but for things that the berries that increase your stats when you get hit by a super effective move, that seems quite good. If you can set that up correctly, I mean, damn, there might
Yeah,
be
it
some
really
like
depends.
wicked plays with that.
I feel like you could totally get away with something like that, and I really hope that we see a bit more creativity when it comes to just like some of these newer abilities that are going to be introduced into the game. But I feel like Cudchew just to me sounds like an easier way to use what was Gigantamax Snorlax's ability? It was like Gmax Replenish, I
Oh yeah,
think.
okay.
And so you could like get your berry back and you could eat the citrus berry over and over again. As we saw some really cool strategies with that with belly drum, Snorlax goes below half, eats its citrus berry, and then is able to do belly drum again.
Oh yeah,
And we
yeah.
saw similar things with like Galarian Moltres as well, where because of Berserk, if it goes below half health, it'll get a special attack boost. And then you eat the berry, and then you get to do that again, essentially. So yeah, I would hope to see maybe something like that come out from a Cudchew for Rigoraph.
Yeah, it seems like quite a cool strat. And then it also might open the doors for like Unnerve to be quite good. It's already like pretty
Yeah.
decent, right? But like what a counter that is to Kudchu. So if you expect maybe they're running Frigoraph and Kudchu is really that strong,
Hmm.
there's quite a lot of Pokemon that know Unnerve. So
Corviknight's going to be in the game,
okay.
so
Yeah.
maybe unnerve Corviknight.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
No.
Honestly, the world is your oyster, I feel like, as soon as a new Pokemon game and a ton of the new abilities and whatnot are going to come in. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm pretty damn hyped. I'm just going to bring up the image of Gimmighoul real quick being not like leaked, but it was in the video and it was behind all the controls for the selfie camera and it was like literally just peeking over a rock. I thought that was quite funny. So it was like kind of released, but not really, just before they actually released it, which was quite cool. So yeah, they've added like a selfie camera, and you can also make sandwiches now as like a thing with the
Which is
campfire.
cool. That the physics of making, so I got a chance to play Scarlet early. I went out to New York like a week before the preseason, or sorry, the postseason started for Overwatch League, and so I got to play like an hour of gameplay. And the sandwich making from firsthand experience is going to be probably the funniest piece of content for about like 10 minutes on anybody's stream. I would love to see people actually try to make the sandwich. The physics is very funny. I had to
Oh, it's
actually
like
put
proper
like all the
physics.
ingredients. Yeah, like how do you put the sandwich together? Like you have to take all the ingredients individually to like put them down. And
Oh,
then but like does how do you get it to line up properly? And it does seem like the placement of your ingredients affects the
what?
overall tastiness of the sandwich. So
Okay.
you better learn how to make a good sandwich, Jack. That's all
That
I'm
is
saying.
that is, I mean, that is a little bit crazy. I thought it was just kind of like you select the items, then it just goes, but actually putting them
Mm,
down and stuff, that sounds very funny,
yes,
actually. That's
very
a
funny.
that's quite a neat feature. Because I kind of liked the idea of like soup making and stuff like that. But it's never a feature that I'm like, oh man, like I kind of want to try. But if it's got like wacky physics to it, like that's always funny. So yeah, I'm kind of down to try that. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that's with the new like picnic feature kind of thing, which is
exactly.
like the little camp that you used to set up, and you get to play with your Pokemon, etc. And you get to take selfies, which is also kind of interesting. I think a lot of games let you do that now, which is kind of cool. Right. I mean, on the same lines, Rose, of the games, you were talking to me a minute ago about leaks that
Oh,
Nintendo or
yeah.
like the Pokemon Company are cracking down on.
Well, I feel like this is a problem that we've had for literally every game. And even when it comes to the Overwatch off season or looking ahead to season 2 of the Battle Pass and whatever else with the release of Ramatra, like that's a topic of conversation in that sphere also. But like for Pokemon, I feel like it's always been an increasingly worse problem as the internet has gained more power, where for
Yes.
clout or whatever other reason you may have, you there are people that just have the urge to post leaks of games. And I feel like there's, obviously people that are into that. Otherwise, why would people be doing it in the first place to get this attention? Or you are like in my camp where you don't want to see that because of this, that, or the other thing. But Nintendo specifically has been cracking down pretty hard. Where just even a couple of days ago, there was a stream that popped up that had Scarlet and Violet leaks in the title of the stream. And then they also had like the game category as Scarlet and Violet. I'm not even sure how that's possible right now on Twitch since it's not even a release game, but there was like 200 people watching and that stream got taken down. And there's even another person I think that was like a main source of all the leaks coming out whose account just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, they got hard DMCA'd. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, they 100% got DMCA'd. Like, there's actually no way. Which is a correct use of DMCA, by the way. Like, a perfect use case is cracking down on leaks and stuff. And actually getting rid of, like, purging them from the internet. But unfortunately, the internet being the internet, people have saved that stuff. So it's
Yeah.
it only takes like it being up for like 5 minutes or less than that, depending on how big or large your account is, for it to be copied, downloaded, and stuff like that. And it kind of
Yeah.
blows. I'm definitely in the same camp as you. It was like, okay, well, you know, certain companies tell us a lot of things or show us things and stuff, and it gets me excited about the thing. But obviously, I'm not going to leak it because obviously it does reach your job in a lot of cases. But also, if I'm not on a project, say Apex Legends, for example, which is notorious for leaks too, notorious, like their legend roster is expanding, obviously, with almost every single season, and people manage to leak the next like 5 legends. I'm personally one for not looking at leaks because it's more exciting. Oh, here's the new character. Here's da-da-da-da. So yeah, it's frustrating, but I also understand why people want to look, because, you know, sometimes you can't wait and you just want to see what's out and you want to see what's up, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, I think like for me, and this is the argument that I'll always stand behind, is that game developers and everybody that works so hard to market the game, they have specific plans on how they want us to receive this
yeah.
information.
Oh, yeah.
And when you leak it early, you're taking away the agency from the developers and all of these passionate people to give you the information the way that they want to be able to deliver it to you. And so maybe
Yes.
that's like a really fun content piece that they had been working on for months. And if it gets leaked early, kind of takes away
All that
the
hard work.
like yeah, like
Gone.
who's going to watch it anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously still people that will, but there's people that are obviously ruining it for other people,
It's not
and I
as
don't know, it
hype.
just sours it.
It's not as
Yeah.
hype. And normally, like, the leaks, they come in, and I'll reference Overwatch again, but with the Kiriko short that was released, there were like
Yes.
screenshots of that. But like the screenshots were so, as with all leaks, it feels like they are taken on a 3G phone from back in the early 2000s, and they look like shit. You know, so it's not exactly the best viewing experience. It's like the classic, like, guy has a camcorder in the back of cinema and is filming. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
why would you like sully that experience of like seeing it for the first time? Like it blows, and it, like you said, it damages, and like the amount of marketing material people put out and the amount of money that kind of goes into that, it kind of sucks when stuff gets leaked early. So,
Yeah.
you
This just
know,
steals their thunder and, like, I
exactly,
imagine you've been working on the game for years,
yeah.
right? This is a game that has been in
Well,
development for literal years,
the
and
GTA
you
one
don't
is the
have to
perfect
do that.
example of that.
Yes,
GTA getting
exactly.
leaked. That Rockstar working on GTA and like Red Dead Redemption and all these massive games that no other publisher, well, I'd say CG Projekt Red actually is the other publisher that puts as much time and like years into their games. But like getting that leaked is like, oh man, like how much time you've put into it, and you want it to be like, oh my god, this is sick, you know? And yeah, it
Yeah.
does suck. It is unfortunate, but you know, to kind of top that all off, like I'm glad, obviously, the Pokemon Company kind of stepping in and being like, nope, nope, not today.
Yes.
And more often than not, the leakers do end up getting tracked down. So, you know, sharing
Exactly.
information, you have to share it with the right people. And if they're mislaying the information, well, you're never going to get the information again. So hopefully they can kind of find the source of the leak and kind of plug that hole. Yeah, okay, moving on to more Pokemon related thing, or TCG related
Something
things, sorry.
that hasn't been leaked.
Yeah, the other side of the product, Crown Zenith or Zenith. I think it depends where you're from, how you say that.
Yes.
Obviously, I want to just another shout out real fast. Poker Beach, obviously, we use these guys a lot. Make sure you go check them out. I'll leave all the links in the description, as I always do. But Crown Zenith is the special set that we talked about a long time ago. We didn't obviously know what it was, but we knew there was one more special set. Yeah, before Scarlet and Violet base set comes out. So this was the set that we were kind of promised, and it is going to be a combination of like a few of the Japanese sets as always, and their VSTAR Universe cards, which we will cover in just a moment. But I thought I'd show you the actual products of it. So we've got booster pack artwork already, and surprise, surprise, we're going back to kind of the original Sword and Shield base set booster packs here with Zamazenta and Zacian, which is kind of cool. Crown Zenith. Oh, God, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know
I
which
would say
way. Just
I would say Zenith, personally.
Zenith is how I'd say it. So maybe that's a
Okay.
British and American thing.
Yeah. It sounds kinda sounds that way for sure.
um, but what's really cool actually is that this is a fan favorite Pokemon. The ETB is actually starring Lucario, which is
Yeah.
kind of sick. And I'm not gonna lie to you, if you are a listener on Apple Music or Spotify or whatever, go check out the Poke Beach website. They have all the full images there. But the ETB looks kind of sick.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the gold detailing onto the ETB is really what just pulls it all together for me and just makes it feel super special. Like we know this is a special set and I feel like the art work of just the products really does reflect that.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Like it reminds me of Lost Origin. The Pokemon Center ETB had gold on it, which was
Yes.
very sick. And speaking of
Very
which,
cool.
there is a Pokemon Center version, but it's called a different thing. So they've changed the name of the Elite Trainer boxes, the Pokemon Center version.
Yeah.
Of course, it's a little bit bigger. You get a couple extra booster packs, and there's a promo card. So it's called the Pokemon Center Classic Elite Trainer Box. Yes, but it's also called Plus. So, so it's really hammering home that you get a little bit extra in here. So it is the classic. Well, it was 10 boosters. By the looks of it now, it is 12,
12.
which is cool. But wait, there's more. There's
Oh,
a Lucario VSTAR, which is sick. Like, we've
so
not seen a
cool.
Pokemon artwork like this, Rose, ever. Like a proper portrait.
Yeah. I think this is like when I first saw the artwork, it was just it's intense. Like the
Yeah.
eyes, they're piercing into your soul. Lucario looks like he's about to go absolutely sicko mode on whoever is standing in front of him, which kind of brings me back to the anime days where, B has a Lucario, you also have Karina, another one of the fighting type gym leaders that has a Lucario, and the Mega Lucario too. Like, I just feel essences of that. And what a sick artwork.
I
Can't
think
remember the last time I've seen something like this.
that is the perfect way to describe that. I think it's like the anime, because it does look
Yeah.
like a scene from the anime, like he's going Super Saiyan or whatever, right? It's like
Yeah.
flames behind him, he's staring dead, like straight at you, kind of thing. And there's not often, to be fair, okay, how do I word this? It's not often that we get Pokemon that are like integral to the storyline that are also kind of like humanoid, I suppose. So like Pikachu, obviously, right? It's Pikachu, Eevee, etc. And you think to Pokemon Movie 2000, like Lugia, but it's not like humanoid. So you can really feel the sense of like this is like a portrait of a character that is like integral to kind of the storyline. I'm trying to
Yeah.
put that in a way, but like it gives off a lot of like anime vibes to it, which is really cool. And then the rest of the products you get within the Elite Trainer Box Plus, it's all like the gold that you were talking about, the gold and black, which is a very like royal kind of color, which is quite cool. All the dividers look good. They're like crimped at the top too with little diamonds. It's definitely, if you're not normally getting the Pokemon Center versions of the boxes, this is probably one that you're gonna get, because it is pretty
Yeah.
sick. It will be available, as they always are, around the same time as the regular sets, and it says they're releasing on the 20th of January. So that's something to look forward to. There's also a regular version, like we were saying before, and a ton of the regular boxes. We talked about it before, Rose, but we were seeing a lot of like the Reggies. So Regidraco, Regileki are getting their own cards, and some of them are getting their own boxes. This is the Regileki V and the Regidraco V collection boxes being a special set. They're bringing back actually the shiny versions of the full art Zacian and Zamazenta V cards, which were in the
Yes.
Japanese sets. And they also come with little like plastic figures and a pin. Like, it really does feel, and tell me if you feel the same way as well, like they're sending Sword and Shield off, especially with this special set off, with a humongous bang. Like,
Oh my gosh. Yes. that was literally the same thought that I was having, like, looking at the products and just looking at the promo art Pokemon that are being used. Like, those are the Pokemon you would expect to see coming into Sword and Shield, making a huge bang, and then to see them with, like, the shiny version again. Yeah, like, what a perfect send off for what a great generation.
Yeah, it has. It's definitely brought a lot of people back into Pokemon. I think being the first like fully fledged Switch Pokemon game. So yeah, it's really cool. And some of the artworks too. We're going to go through them now. Again, sorry, audio listeners. I'll kind of describe it as much as possible. But a lot of these cards are from the VSTAR Universe, or the set previous, which are going to be rolled into Crown Zenith. So we have a Manaphy kind of swimming in a pool, which I thought was really cool. And it has, with these alternate arts, the character arts, they're always full of other Pokemon. So Bruxfish is in there. You got
Ew.
basically everything. Yeah, okay. Well,
Why'd you have to put in the Proxish, dude?
okay,
Like,
yeah, well.
of all Pokemon that you could have pointed out as being really cute as a part of this
Yeah,
card.
okay, not
Okay, like,
Bruxfish. Definitely not cute.
Muku, like, the Picky
Muku,
Peck.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cute. Look at the Wishy-Washy.
Okay,
That's
ignore
really
the
cute.
Bruxfish. Ignore the Bruxfish.
Freaking
This is the topic. Cool. That is, to be fair, one of the only, like, one of the swimming Pokemon in the game. So, yeah, maybe they could have added something else. I don't know. Alolan,
Listen, it is the ugliest Pokemon that they have ever created,
is,
and I stand by that.
it is one of the most ugly Pokemon for sure. But one of the most pretty cards, amazing segue, by the way, is the Sleeping Mew card. So it is Mew curled up on the forest floor with a little berry that is taken a bite out of, and there's hella Pokemon looking at it and making sure they're protecting it. So you have Galarian Ponyta, you have Nidoran male and Nidoran female, and like tons of other Pokemon just kind of looking at how goddamn adorable this Mew card is. I'm a big fan of Mew, okay? And this card goes hard.
I know. I this is one I'm like, if you don't pull it, I already know to save you one.
Yeah. I need this card
But
bad.
hey, the Mewtwo is pretty sick too.
Yeah, we'll get to the Mewtwo in a minute because my god, like I said, sending Sword and Shield off with a massive bang with all these V-Stars. I'll just quickly skip through some of these too. There's an Absol one which is quite cool. Looks very water painting-esque, which is quite sick. There is an Altaria, which is, and I really like this Altaria card because it's one of the crocheted ones, and they've never done this on a full art version before. But if you've seen any of the recent cards, or to be fair, the crochet Pokemon went all the way back to like 2006 with Gen 3 like EX, old school EX era with a crocheted Pokemon and the clay Pokemon. It's an Altaria, which is crocheted. The fluffy ball of cotton wool that's surrounding it is sitting on a crocheted bed. It looks just unreal. Another really, really cool card. Yeah, okay, we'll get to the Mewtwo now. This Mewtwo card is really sick, Rose, because it is the opposite viewing angle from the Charizard V-Star promo card, which came in the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection and one of the other sets in Japan. And it's literally the opposite angle. So we see the Charizard kind of running away and Mewtwo charging a Kamehameha from the background. But this time it's Mewtwo in the foreground charging that Kamehameha, which is
pretty great.
I mean,
it's pretty great.
Like I said, one of the best cards probably ever made.
I don't know how many times we've really seen the Pokemon Company put cards together like that. There's been a few times, and like I think there are definitely some really good examples of it in like the earlier generation of cards. So I'm thinking like base set. I remember there's like 2 that go together, and then even just like I can't remember exactly what set it was, but there's a set that had like 3 cards that go together. If you like to line them all up, they all make
Smeargle recently.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah. But so, it's not often we get to see that kind of thing. And in a V-Star, and it being just this unbelievable amount of artwork. Yeah, I mean, this card is going to be one of the more expensive ones for sure. Oh, and your boy Diglett is still there. He's still getting blown away in the bottom right-hand corner. Yeah. He looks hella scared. Don't know where he's going, but he does not want to be wherever Mewtwo and Charizard are fighting. I'll take that right now. Also, Tangrowth as well. Jesus.
Best Easter egg, I think.
It is, the little Diglett is running for dear life. It is ridiculous stuff. We also get so they kind of continue this train with the Hisuian Pokemon, Hisuian Zoroark, which looks like how the artists they've hired for some of these V-Stars are just unreal. Like, it looks like an ancient drawing, which is kind of what Legends Arceus is supposed to be, but like, my God.
Yeah, like,
Like,
I'm
actual
thinking
work of art.
the Chinese art style, like the Chinese and Japanese, like very old art styles that are like just super popular nowadays.
Yeah.
Thinking of, like, the like the waves and what else. That's kind of what it reminds me of when I look at the card.
No, I agree. And like the color palette too is very
Oh
like,
yeah, like the golds.
it's like golds and browns and like kind of muted reds and orange kind of thing. It's a very good looking card. Like, I always kind of think back to how I love the old school cards a lot. Like, EX era, like the old EX era is like my jam. That's what I love to collect. And I'm like, man, these artworks are sick. But we don't have artworks like this. Also, they're not full arts, Like, as much as like you can kind of put the rose tinted glasses on and think of like nostalgia about those kind of cards, nothing really compares to some of these new cards that they're coming out with in terms of like the level of artistic talent that goes into these. It's mad. Also, the Hisuian Samurott as V-Star as well, with a snow runt in front of him. Like, it just looks trippy. Like,
He looks evil.
yeah.
But no, you're
Seriously.
right. Like, it's just so cool. Like, the level of detail that's being put into each of these cards, I think just isn't going unnoticed.
Yeah.
And so this is definitely like every collector's paradise, looking at all of the different trainer gallery arts that have come out over the last however long, 4 or 5 sets now.
It is a good time to
Keep
be
them
a collector.
coming. Keep them coming. I
Yeah.
want more.
Oh, yeah. I just want to quickly go over these ones as well that were revealed from VSTAR Universe. So they will be in the Crown Zenith set. We have a Radiant Charizard, which is quite cool. I mean, we already got a Radiant Charizard. I guess we're getting a second one. I mean, sure. We have a Galarian, or like the Galarian forms of the bird. So we got the Zapdos, Articuno, Moltres, and they get their own character arts again. So they already had one, but they're getting another one, which is cool. I particularly like the Moltres. I think that's quite an interesting style of art. Numel one is quite cool. Spot the Ditto. Yep, there's a Ditto version of the Numel in there as well, which is quite awesome. For the audio listeners, it's just a ton of Numel on a grassy plain, and there is a Ditto version staring you right in the face. So I thought that was quite cool. Another Pokemon that gets zero love. Maybe a few members in the community still remember this Pokemon. Dunsparce is getting a character rare. He's just like, there's just hella Dunsparce in this room. What, they're just on shelves and stuff like that. There's a Milk Tank one with a feast in front of it. An Entei, I'm assuming getting there's a Raikou one there as well. Entei with a volcano, a Suicune in a blizzard, and a Raikou like zooming at the speed of light, which is really sick. I know this podcast episode is probably going to be a bit long. We're going through a lot of the cards, but I'll quickly just kind of skip through some of these. And there's obviously all the trainer cards too. Cynthia's in it, by the way, which means this set is probably going to be quite expensive.
Yes. Anytime Cynthia's in it. Like, I remember Cynthia and Garchomp, one of the first character arts we got from the Trainer Gallery art collections. I think that card's still pretty expensive.
Oh, I would not be surprised.
I have a feeling anytime Cynthia is involved, I feel like she's just
the full art trainer card, right, with her in the middle and then Garchomp on one side and something on the other side, right?
Yes, like the favorite Pokemon just kind of flanking her on either side.
Yeah, that card, Sabrina's, oh my god, what is it called? Sabrina's Ambition, Sabrina's something. No, yeah, I know exactly what card you mean, and yeah, that card is probably still mega expensive.
Because I remember what it is. Because there's the shiny vault of Cynthia.
Yes.
And this was from Hidden Fates. And so it's still
right.
$80. Still pretty expensive. And it has the shiny Garchomp and the shiny Lucario. That's the card I think we were thinking of. But like $80 still? Like, the price is only going up.
Yeah. Yeah, which is nuts because those things aren't being opened anymore. It's
Yeah.
I will tell you one thing about Pokemon card collecting. Unless you're collecting vintage, which kind of like slowly goes up, but then goes down, and then goes up, and kind of you find like a middle baseline. I think at least now a lot of cards are just stabilized across the board because the need and want for them is diminishing. With new cards, timing that dip of like everybody's opened them and then like them coming back up is very difficult. It's hard to tell when you need to want to buy cards. Yeah, so VSTAR Universe obviously got their pack art, which is very classic for these sets. It's just gold pack, then cool Pokemon on front, which will have lots of cool artwork. But a lot of them is kind of reprints as well, which will end up... The pull rates are going to be quite high in this set, I can imagine. So I thought, yeah, VSTAR Universe is going to be an elite set. Like, it's the big send-off. It's going to be a good time. Right, I thought we'd... Oh, yeah, so another card artwork kind of thing we got to talk about. We covered this a long time ago, Rose, which is the Pokemon TCG illustration contest winners. So they actually picked winners, and here are their cards.
This is so freaking cool that the Pokemon Company did this. And I love that we're seeing more community artist integration into the games we love. Like, we just got that with Overwatch League, with some of our favorite community artists getting in-game cosmetics and sprays. And I think Game Changers just did that too for Valorant, where they brought on an artist to do a special limited edition merch collection with hoodies and t-shirts. And with Pokemon cards too, like, this is like the pinnacle, I feel like, of a Pokemon artist fan would want, is to be
on a card,
glorified forever as a Pokemon card.
Oh, 1,000%. And these artworks as well, do not miss a beat, I'll tell you. I particularly like the Bulbasaur one. Bulbasaur kind of swinging in the vines. So and then a couple of them looking, oh my god, you're going to fall. Like, no. You know what's really funny, actually? When we were looking through the illustration contest, like originally, like a few months ago, or like a month ago, I can't remember when it was. We were looking at this exact Arcanine one. It's the Arcanine kind of yawning, sitting in a meadow. And, oh man, what's the
little Fletchling on its back?
Fletchling, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Fletchling just kind of chilling on its back while it's taking a nap. I remember looking at that one specifically because that was one of the finalists, I believe. So, yeah, what's more cool than getting your own artwork immortalized in a physical card? I can't name too many things, but yeah. There's a Greninja one too, for the audio listeners out there, with all its evolutions kind of springing around him, but he looks very sinister with the red eyes. It looks quite ominous. So I'm actually curious. I didn't actually read the entire article here. A giveaway will begin on December 16th in Japan. I won't be there, rip. Customers will receive a set of all 3 cards when they spend more than 2,000 yen on merchandise in the Japanese Pokemon centers, stores, and the Pokemon Center online. No word yet of a similar promotion coming to America as the contest winners from the United States. So yeah, that's pretty cool. 2,000 yen's about $20, I think. So $20, not too bad. You can buy a few packs, or you can buy, a plushie and a few packs, and you get all 3 cards. So it doesn't sound like they're going to be short of them, which is good. These cards should be available to all because, how sick the artwork is. So that was really cool. Yeah, like I said, I echo what you said, Rose. It's really nice to see the Pokemon Company just continue to integrate more community artists. Quickly moving on, we have TCG Live. It's finally coming. Finally.
Oh yeah, that's right. So the only reason why this has surprised me is not because I didn't look at the topic list for today, but it's more like I've been watching people play the beta in Canada with like VPNs and whatever else, and like the beta's been rolling out very slowly to other countries, but the fact that it's actually like going to launch worldwide in beta is still blowing my mind. Like, we've come this far, ladies and gentlemen, and it's finally here.
Yeah, thank God, because I
like actually crazy.
I need to jump on real quick. Yeah, because it released in Canada in February. We are almost in November. So the target date is actually the end of November. So basically the end of the year, which is nuts. So Canada have had it for quite a while, almost 10 months of them having it, 9-10 months kind of deal. So
Yeah.
Okay, we're finally getting it. Thank God for that. Because this is the big thing too. This is the big transition. The Pokemon TCG Live Rose, I think, really needs to hit home. This limited beta, when it rolls out by the end of the year, especially to the biggest market in the world, at least for Western Pokemon, obviously, is the United States. It needs to go hard in the US. And I think it really needs to be tightened up, because we were discussing it before and you had a couple of little, like, oh, it doesn't look like it's super polished. And you're hoping by the time at the end of the year, it will be, because this product is going to funnel people not only to buy packs to get codes to play the game, but also to play the game, then to buy packs, then to go to regionals. You know, it works both ways.
Exactly. No, you're so right about that. And I think that's why a lot of hardcore fans and players were very disappointed in the original beta, as we saw it when it got released to just Canada on February 22nd, is that it was very buggy. It took a little while for the developers to really get things rolling in terms of fixing a lot of those elements. And just time and time again, I feel like I would constantly see something here, this, that, or the other thing about how people wish they just hadn't transferred their stuff over yet from TCGO to TCG Live. My hope is that this goes well, because I have been really looking forward to a smoother UI system to play the game.
Yes,
And
yes.
like, there's something about playing online that is way easier than playing in person. I know you and I have talked about this.
Yeah. It is easier just to kind of jump in and get a game. And that is
Yeah.
what everybody kind of expects nowadays, especially with how, like, Jesus Christ. Obviously, show my age a little bit here, but like way back when, jumping, like, free-to-play games didn't really exist. And you had to buy the game, play it, and jump in, jump online kind of thing. But sometimes your internet connection wasn't good enough to play online and that kind of stuff. But like now, with everything going free to play, you need an experience that is seamless. You jump in, get some games in, done and done. And like card games, it has, like, Magic has done it, but Arena, for me at least, it doesn't really kind of hit the same spot as like in-person Magic. But like Pokemon probably would, because I have less experience with Pokemon, at least in person, than I do with Magic the Gathering. So this kind of thing needs to be a hit, because finding people in your local area to consistently play with for any card game is tough. It is tough. And having an experience that I can just jump on in a morning, grab my coffee when I sit down, play a few games before I like get on with the rest of my day is perfect. Like it has to be a hit, and if it is, it's going places. That's all I'm saying. It's going places. And this is limited.
Like,
I will preface this, by the way. It's a beta, so there will be bugs.
Yes.
There will be things wrong with it. It being a beta, keep that in mind. But feedback, obviously, in betas, and it being a limited beta, not sure how that's going to roll out, but you're hoping that there's a very easy method of communicating with the developers, whether that's in-game or out of game, to give feedback. That is what you need. That feedback channel needs to be there.
Oh, and be kind with your feedback.
Yeah.
Please, 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 please be kind with your feedback. And remember that there is a person on the other side of that form. Because I feel like very often I do see justified criticism, but criticism that's not necessarily handed out in a way that anybody would want to perceive that and like take it home and do something with. And I feel like kindness, especially when you want something to succeed, goes such a long way, because you know that that is what strengthens that open network of communication to ensure that that keeps going for like future iterations of the product too.
Exactly, yeah. There is a human being. I know it doesn't feel like that because we're on the internet, but there is a human being on the other end of that forum post or, you know, bug report or whatever. So yeah, keep that in mind. Don't be mean. Just be kind. It's free. It's literally free of charge. I thought we'd kind of talk about the next topic. Not something that everybody wants to hear. This next one. It is the Pokemon Company announcing price increases for TCG products in Japan. Whether that will actually affect the US market or like the global market outside of Japan is yet to be seen, but it does kind of make sense with inflation globally and like the current situation with the stock markets, and Japan specifically. opening their borders a bit more now and allowing people to come in on it's not a visa, but like you have to fill out a form before you enter the country. And
Yeah.
because before you had to, because I booked a holiday recently in Japan, and completely forgot to check if the borders were open, and they weren't, but now they are, and I already printed my tickets, so oh well. But you had to quarantine for like 10 days, so it was like impossible
That's a
for
lot.
people to like go on holidays. So Japan kind of needs to open back up because of the need for tourists to come to the country, like most countries. I'm not saying that kind of is the reason why they're up in the prices. It's just kind of something to keep in mind. It's like on a global scale, a lot of countries right now that are trying or suffering with COVID on a larger scale, or like suffering with it, unfortunately, a bit more than other countries. Yeah, the economy is a bit wacky all over the place. So they are increasing the prices. So actually, let me quickly Google this, Rose. 180, obviously booster packs are very different.
It's like 5, so it's 5 to 10%. I was actually doing the math while you were talking.
Yeah.
So it's 5 to 10%, just kind of across the board for price increases, and then there's some
Yes.
products that go up to like, I want to say like 20%.
Yes. Going up
Like
as
it
much as
does
25,
look.
it says.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I was like right around the right ballpark there. But so it won't feel like a huge increase,
No.
but I am also hopeful that maybe, because I don't know how big of a scalping problem Japan has with their products, but I do know that there's a pretty significant market of individuals that like to export these products so that other parts of the world can get them. And I know this because I've done this a few times to get my hands on some things that are like Japan Pokemon Center
Yeah.
exclusives for plush or something like that. So I know that these services exist. But I'm kind of wonder, like, does that actually affect the like the the actual local market? Because I never really stopped to think about that. Like, what is my individual impact of utilizing the service doing to the local economy of Pokemon product? So I kind of wonder,
That's
like, it,
a good question.
yeah, isn't that kind of an interesting thought? Like, that didn't occur to me until the second. That like, what if
Yeah.
I'm affecting inflation? Or if I'm affecting scalping or something else that happens there, I'm gonna need, yeah, like tell us in the
Hmm.
comments if you've heard about this, or what you think of the price increase. But I think it might actually do some good if there is scalpers that come through, but it could also hurt too. Because scalpers seem to have infinite money to to get more stuff to
Yeah.
make more money,
The
and that's not great
margins.
either.
Yeah. Like the thing is, it's almost like a race to the bottom a lot of the time, especially with Japanese products from Japanese sellers ending up on UK or Australian or US eBay. It feels like a race to the
Mhm.
bottom because they want to shift the kind of product. And yeah, I've never really thought about it too. I think that's actually a really good like thought experiment because I've done the same thing as you. I've gone on eBay a couple of times and I'm like, oh, I know this seller from Japan. Like, I not know them personally, but I bought them from them before. I'm just going to buy a few
Exactly.
boxes, and I bought 3 boxes of one of the special sets. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to open one. Maybe I keep a couple, or maybe I open a couple because the set's cool. But yeah, am I kind of part of the problem there because I'm facilitating this person because they're just buying to kind of scalp? It's
I don't know if there is a problem or if even like you do scalp in that way. I
yeah,
don't know. That's why I'm like interested because they do have like lottery systems as well. So most of the
yep,
product I do buy, somebody had to enter the lottery or get the pre-order or whatever in order to get the product. And then of course I'm paying some amount of a markup for them to ship it internationally. And also because they invested their own individual time and effort in order to get the product, which I'm
exactly.
okay with. But like, does that mean then that you're taking, like, I don't know. It's like I might be one person taking it out of the Japan ecosystem,
Yeah,
but how many other people are also doing that?
I think there definitely
So
was a problem with scalpers at some point in Japan. I do remember that was because of the
yeah.
cardboard shortage as well, and
Oh
like
yeah. They had
yeah,
to change
so
the packaging, right? But that
y-
was more like people also reboxing
yeah,
products.
that was a resealing thing. Although that is
Yes.
obviously a part of the problem as well.
Also a problem.
But I do remember there being a cardboard shortage at one point, and that kind of yeah. There's always going to be scalpers regardless of the product in any capacity, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's something else. But I want to say it doesn't affect it too much, but then I don't know. So it's pretty tough to say. These price increases are very small, 5 to 10%, and a booster pack does cost about $1.80. So, but then a booster pack is very different from an American booster pack. You know what I mean? So, and that's only for a regular booster too. That's not a special edition booster or anything like that. And it doesn't even look like booster boxes are going up in price. It's just booster packs, pre-constructed decks, deck sleeves. I guess that's 2 versions. A couple of deck boxes, playmats, collection files, carrying cases. This
basically
could be
plastic.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe.
It's honestly stuff that's just
Acrylic damage
with
counters, plastic card frame, card carrying case, collection file page inserts, collection files, playmats. All of that is plastic.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something to do with plastic. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we're getting to...
Everything in there is plastic, so...
Yeah, maybe we're getting to the bottom of a mystery that we didn't know.
Hey, it's not scalping and it's not us. We're not the problem.
It might just be plastic. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. They're saying here it's this is an effort to maintain product quality. So again, you're kind of thinking, it does say at the very top here, which is not reading the article, rising material and distribution costs, which to be fair, distribution costs is quite in line, and material in line with inflation. So you're expecting things to kind of gradually rise over time. Am I worried about if I was in Japan, a 16 yen increase, which is about 16 cents? Probably not. And if you are worried about that kind of thing, probably buying a booster pack is probably the least. You know what I mean? It's like the least of your concerns. And I think having the booster packs and this kind of stuff being that low, I think is quite... I've always thought, at least in Japan, things are quite cheap. Yeah, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's fun.
Maybe that's more of a privileged take about things. I'm not entirely sure, but there you go. I thought we kind of covered that. Yeah, that is that. That is the sad story at the end there. Rose, I don't know if you wanted to kind of cover any of the TCG events coming up. Of course, New Year just around the corner.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this goes back to what we were talking about before. If you are able to get into the worldwide beta launch of TCG Live, then you should try to play the game. I think that playing online makes it way easier for you to learn the mechanics, especially with a game that has as many different things going on with it as Pokemon TCG. Maybe that's your little stepstone into the world of competitive Pokemon. And we've got 2 events coming up in January. Well, we've got the whole cycle of Scarlet and Violet that comes out in January, but in December, we have 2 events. It will be Toronto and Arlington, the weekends of December 4th and December 17th, respectively, that you can sign up for to go compete for TCG or for Pokemon Go. And then Scarlet and Violet is just around the corner. We're going to be resuming our competitive play events in January 2023.
Gives people a little bit of time. A little bit of time to build up teams and whatnot. So,
well, you have to. You absolutely have to. So
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. A lot of stuff coming around the corner. My God, I think it's going to be... The game's probably going to release. We'll maybe get another episode out just before game. Wait, when's the game release? What date? 16th?
November 18th.
18th. Okay, a couple of days.
Friday, November 18th.
All right. Wow. I will be... not sure where I'll be. Probably traveling still, unfortunately. But yeah,
we'll
Jesus Christ. Whew. I can't wait. It's going to be a good time. One more thing before we wrap up for today. It's been an hour, by the way. We haven't done a podcast in a long time. Forgive us for being an hour. But, you know, if you like that kind of thing, leave a like. Give us a comment if you've reached it this far. Pokemon card of the week. Wow, it's just my head. I haven't framed myself up properly at all, but that's fine. I thought I'd give it this week. We talked about this card before, but we're giving it Pokemon card of the week this time. Unknown VSTAR, another Pokemon that gets almost no love, but the Pokemon company was like, no, you specifically unknown. Not sure which one of you actually.
You were the chosen one.
A collection of you. You are the chosen ones to be the Pokemon card of the week today. Because
I think the letter V is the chosen one.
Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But everything else is also still pretty good.
It's good. I like that. I like that a lot. The V unknown specifically. You were the chosen one.
You.
It is. Yeah, we don't see unknown a lot, so I thought that would be the Pokemon card of the week. Shout out EX Unseen Forces with the subset of unknowns, which is almost impossible to complete. Yeah, shout out. My God, imagine telling a kid, by the way, it's a subset of 28 characters. you're like, bruh, how am I going to get
Are
that?
you gonna do that,
No.
Mr. EX collector?
I've almost completed Unseen Forces. I am
Okay,
not collecting any of the unknowns. I'm not tracking those. I'm not doing it.
that's fair.
I'm not doing it. I think I have like 3. And I think
That's
I pulled them
very fair and
myself.
reasonable.
Jesus.
Uncle, you at
They
least have
are...
to spell your name.
Yeah, that is true. Maybe I should just spell out Jules or Jack. Yeah, that would actually be kind of sick. It's just...
There you
I'm just going to point it out. Finding those cards specifically on eBay, impossible. Unknown. Because they're just called unknown. It's like Unknown J, Unseen Forces, Unknown A, Unseen... It's not happening. If someone has a full set and wants to send it to me, there you go. That's how I complete it. If not, that's fine. I'll just complete the regular set and pretend the other set doesn't exist. Easy.
That's fair.
Easy.
That's very fair.
All right. We've just topped an hour. Perfect timing.
Okay, that's
Boom.
great timing.
But good timing. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Me and Rose will be back in a couple of weeks, probably. Of course, new game comes out. TCG Live's coming out. Everything's happening. We'll cover some more news in a couple of weeks. Thank you so much for watching or listening, and I'll see you very soon.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.